Hey there, it's Anthony from TBN here, and today we'll be answering the question, should you play Star Renegades? Now you may be wondering, what am I looking at here? Is this a 16-bit Final Fantasy game? Or Blade Runner on the Super Nintendo? Well, no. It's none of those things, I'm afraid. It's actually a roguelike RPG with light story elements that'll punish players for stepping out of line. So, if you're a full-blown RPG masochist, then boy do I have the game for you. Let's check it out. In classic JRPG fashion, characters line up and take turns showing off their flashy animations and skills. But what's really interesting about Star Renegades is that each action has a time element to it, allowing you to crit enemies for extra damage and possibly hold up, or as the game calls it, break, an opponent's action until the next round. Think of Final Fantasy X's conditional turn-based system where certain moves can delay or bring actions forward on the timeline. The key focus here is that parties must juggle heavy, normal, light, flurry, AoE, counter, and combo attacks to crit foes and dish out as much punishment before they can retaliate, as any damage dealt prior to the enemy's assault will pack a huge punch. Combine this with stagger attacks, which pushes back character actions on the timeline, and you've got yourself the keys to success. However, the interface can become a touch too difficult to read when there's a bunch of character models, visual effects, and information on screen. But it's never too distracting to the point of frustration. The party's composition and careful consideration of your equipment are also top priorities in Star Renegades. And as with traditional RPGs, each character has a particular role to fill. A Juggernaut, for instance, will have you taking less overall damage, whilst the main protagonist, Win Syphex, who's a Valkyrie, excels in frontline DPS destruction. Plus, she has an assortment of different attack speeds and moves at her disposal. All these elements help add layers of tactical depth and really push you to plan out each round, because if the party kicks the bucket, Star Renegades will plonk you right back to its opening scenes. As frustrating as it is to restart, I'm not entirely sure if this works in the game's favor or not, because even though it's a roguelike, repeating turn-based encounters can be a bit of a slog. And if the cast and overarching story aren't grabbing you, then I could imagine players might opt out for a less overwhelming experience. To alleviate the difficulty, however, Star Renegades lets you carry over certain upgrades and bonus abilities between runs. Even though there are elements of randomness, specific things such as party member perks, unlockable characters, and equipment can jumpstart your adventure off on the right foot, granting you different options to experiment with and try out new approaches to combat upon restart. There's even an adversarial Nemesis-type system like in Shadow of Mordor, and you can also partner up and produce offspring from those with a strong enough relationship. It's similar to Fire Emblem Awakening in theory, but you'll never actually receive any hints or tips on whom to actually partner up with. Guess you're just gonna have to trial and error to death? Not the greatest execution here, that's for sure. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and press all on the bell notifications. The more subscriptions we get from viewers like yourself, the more we can grow, and the more content we can deliver straight to your YouTube homepage. Thanks for your support. Your first run will have you straight up gawking at the gorgeous pixel art, especially in battle, as there's very much a tangible gravitas and flair to these arenas. Combine that with the flowing synthwave music, and the game's space opera type feel is amped up even further. Your party will then be traveling around the 3 main planets, growing your squad and progressing from battle to battle, conquering each enemy you encounter along the way, culminating in a tough-as-nails final boss fight that will slap you silly for days, kicking your butt right back to the start. Get ready to fail. A lot. At the end of each day, there's a camping section allowing characters to unlock extra bonuses and combo moves, which are essentially limit breaks that can be used once per battle. Even though it's a relatively minor feature of the game, this mechanic can really assist your team in a pinch, impacting the long and short-term results of your party's run. so make sure you choose wisely. Like I mentioned before, Star Renegade's story and characters aren't the greatest. It's basically a stop the invasion plot spanning across several dimensions. The other timelines acting as failed instances of the party not stopping the invaders in their tracks. Because of this, there are some strong bonds formed between party members, but nothing that goes beyond surface level banter. The awesome opening cutscene has a very somber, stirring atmosphere. However, it's a shame that the rest of the story isn't congruent with this approach. It doesn't contrast well with the quippy, one-liner type protagonist either, who don't offer any real sense of dramatic depth. You'd think the intro scene would help set the tone, but it just doesn't follow along with how the story and characters are portrayed. It feels like false advertising, quite honestly. So, should you play Star Renegades? I'd have to give it a solid maybe. If you like punishingly hard RPGs, then you're in for a treat. If not, then the sweet presentation and solid gameplay might do the trick. Though don't expect a grand story of epic proportions or a cast with tons of depth and characterization. Star Renegades is all about that cyclical, roguelike gameplay. If that's not your style, then I'd actually suggest looking elsewhere. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this vid, click that like button down below. And as always, if you haven't yet done so, press subscribe and the bell icon next to it so you won't miss an upload. See you guys in the next video.